So here is our Monday magic lesson to help you come into deeper relationship with yourself, with soul, with source, and really getting on track to the life you truly desire in the way that you truly desire to be moving in that direction. Because we can force, we can push, but we want to flow. We want to feel the magic. We want to know that what we're doing matters. And this is really one of the major purposes for the Monday Magic Lesson is like, let's come together right at the start of the week, the portal into the next 7 days, and go, how am I going to show up for myself, for my goals, for my dreams, not just today in this moment, 7:27 a.m., but moving forward. Now, if you find throughout the week that you lose the intention, you lose the focus, you forget the alignment of self, soul, source, then you can always come back to these lessons. So you can return, you can revisit, and I do tend to keep these about 15 minutes, so it's never too much to reconnect with. Though on that note, I would highly recommend that either you take notes during this because you don't know when something's going to pop a light bulb on in your head, or be commenting in the comments throughout. So if you do come back and you do revisit and you don't have a whole 15 minutes, you can check out your own comments, be refreshed and reminded about your own ahas, and move forward from there. The first thing I want you to do in this Monday Magic Lesson is to ask yourself the question, how am I in this very moment? And that might come through about your emotions. I am very excited. I'm a little bit sad. Oh, I'm kind of weary physically from the weekend. So doing a little bit of a body check, mind, body, and soul. How are you in this moment? The answer might come through like quite profound and quite deep and like, oof, I didn't realize what was going on within me. It might be a little bit more gentle and a little bit more superficial. Allow it to be whatever you need it to be here in this moment. Pop it in the comments. That will also be something really interesting to see when you revisit this video to go, oh, on Monday at 7:28 a.m., I was feeling like deeply inspired. And now as I come back to it later in the week, I'm feeling a little bit disconnected. Let's, have a bit of an inquiry here. What happened? Where did I drift off? How do I come back? When or why has this happened? Just a little side tangent there. So how do you feel in this very moment? Who are you in this moment? The reason I ask that and the reason I start there is I want you to be present. I want you to be grounded. I want you to be activated. The reason to be present, grounded, and activated is that so you can get more out of this session. If you're watching this and you are not listening, just come back to it when you can have focus, when you can have attention. And if you need to create that focus and attention now and come back to it, I invite you to do so. I want these to change your week, to change your day, to change your state, if that is what is needed. And to be a powerful guiding light for you. Your responsibility in that is showing up in a way where you can actually be connected to that intention. Each and every one of these Monday Magic Lessons can change your day, your week, your state. Let's even go there, your life. If you are in that open, curious, magical mindset where we make the most change, resonance, meaning, impact. Do what you need to do to get into that state. Alrighty. So this entire month, we have been focusing on your intuition. Your intuition is so many beautiful things, and it is one thing that can never leave you. You'll never lose, but we can become disconnected from. There is so many, surrounding factors in that. Trauma, trust, application, the people around us, simply practice. And we've gone over quite a few of those in the last couple of weeks. So if you do want to revisit any of the lessons, we've looked at understanding your relationship with intuition. We've looked at how to identify what's blocking you and limiting your intuition. We did the whole masterclass, Healing Your High Priestess, which was amazing, which was transformative, which was magical, which was a real deep dive into the power that lives within you to activate it, to connect to it, and to use it. It was both a illuminating masterclass and a practical application masterclass. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out and then report back. And when I say report back, come back to the group, create a post, share in the comments, reach out, put it out there, start a conversation if something was on your mind from the session. Last week, we also looked at strengthening your intuitive connection. So if you're the type of person that goes, I know I have an intuition, it happens sometimes, but it's a little bit hit and miss, or I want it to be more active, more daily, more present, more, a part of my life. Check out that session, strengthen your intuitive connection. I gave you 3 ways, that just little daily things that you can do to develop and strengthen your connection, your relationship with your intuition. I would love to know how that went if you did it. And if you haven't yet, tell me which one you're going to choose when you go watch that video. Just tag me in the comments and then report back. You can report back every day if you want. You can report back at the end of the week. Today, I really wanted to introduce a bit of a mindset shift around intuition. This mindset shift, for me, like I pulled cards on it, it was very interesting. It is around releasing a perspective on intuition that you may be holding, consciously or subconsciously, and inviting in a perspective on your intuition that is much more empowering. And we want to put this into the conscious, because you might hold this at some level, the strength, the connection, the power, the things I'm going to say, but we want to know it consciously as well. So that when you're moving through your day, you're moving through your life, you're coming across challenges or opportunities, you are aware of what is going on and how you can be in the most powerful position. So here is, and I'm going to give it to you straight and simple, and then we're going to go into it a little bit more. So if you haven't already grabbed your pen and paper, or you're ready to type in the comments, I would recommend doing it now. Okay. Intuition is a process, not a product. So intuition is a process. It's not just a product. We're going to start to unpack it now. The real deep place that I want to start is the power of knowing that intuition is a process, not a product, is we stop trying to have it be static and right and done and finished and one right thing. Just, dob yourself in the comments if you've accidentally been approaching your intuition like that. It's like you have a problem, you ask your intuition for the answer. And you get it or you don't. It's right or it's wrong. It's what you want to hear, or it's not what you want to hear. When we view our intuition as a static outcome, as a right or a wrong, or something inchangeable, immutable, that just is, what we are really doing is disconnecting from not only the power of your intuition, which is infinite, but the power of possibility in your life, in your timeline, in your body, in yourself, in your soul. Because with literally everything in the world, there is never one answer, one pathway, one way. So why would, probably subconsciously, aiming for a static, simple solution be serving you? It might feel safer. It might feel like that's what you want. There's security, there's safety, there's protection, there's familiarity, there's control, there's comfort. Of course, this is why probably we reach for that, but it is not serving you to the fullest and to the highest. So intuition as a process, as something that unfolds, that's something that you continually connect with, relate to, hear from, are in communication and relationship with, is so much more empowering. For one, it's with you always. For two, you're tuned in and tapped in constantly throughout every process, which means that along the way, you get these little tweaks and nudges. It's like adjusting your compass. Rather than going, X marks the spot, I want to be at X, we go, okay, I've got a map, I've got a compass, and I'm going to navigate my way. And you might need to go around a tree, go over a hill, backtrack a little bit, go around, some obstacle. It is a process that we're constantly in response to, in relationship with. The outcome of beginning to view it in this way, having this mindset shift, having this permission to view our intuition as something that unfolds rather than something that simply is fixed, is you get to have an appreciation and an accessibility with your intuition that wasn't there previously, because you begin to open up to it is constantly present. It is constantly there. It is constantly guiding you. Now, based on our masterclass this month, Healing Your High Priestess, remember that wasn't about healing anything broken within you, because nothing is broken within you, but about the communication channel that may be dulled or dimmed or muffled. So this is leading on from that. Now, I've often referred to, and you might have heard me do this, I've often referred to intuition as one of our tools. But I want to build on that further, because the word tool kind of also seems a bit static. It's not just a sword to swing at things or a hammer to bang in nails. It is not just a fixed, a static tool. Here we go. Here's a forceful application of my intuition. That is not what we're aiming for. It is, and of course, this will be very on brand for me. It is like a paintbrush that helps you create and reveal the whole picture along the way. At every stage throughout a painting, you are responding, you are thinking, considering, feeling, sensing, intuiting. You put this down and you respond to it. You start to see what's emerging. You can react to it. You can go, is that the direction I want to head in, or do I want to shift? It is a constant process. Is it a constant building of a relationship, of communication, of a conversation? And that is how I invite you to start to view your intuition. Not a right or wrong, not a one or done. It is this beautiful unfolding process that you get to be a part of the whole way through. Now, last week's lesson about developing your relationship with your intuition, like with practical daily practices, that is something that's going to help you shift and embed this mindset shift. So if you've been thinking about your intuition just as, that hammer and nail, and it's hit and miss, and sometimes you got the hammer and sometimes you don't, and sometimes the nail is there and sometimes it isn't, and sometimes you hit it and sometimes you miss it, to disconnect from that, to start to integrate in this right relationship with your intuition, this beautiful channel of communication, this much more deeper and divine way of moving and existing and creating whatever it is that you desire to create. Make sure that you are practicing your intuition. And there are 3 powerful and beautiful ways for you to choose from last week's lesson. If none of them speak to you, if none of them call to you, I invite you to come up with your own way. What feels right? And it could feel right, mentally, like I'm on board with that. It might feel right in your heart of like, it gives me this, great feeling and emotion. You might get a sense in your body, a tingle, burst of energy. Come up with your own if you don't like the ones that I've suggested, or post in the group. What else could I do? What is everyone else doing? If you have done it, how did you go? What did you choose? And I am curious, if you saw it and you committed to it and you didn't do it, what came up for you? Let's get curious. It's not about judgment. It's not about beating yourself down. That in and of itself is feedback. There is something missing or something that was needed to be acknowledged or brought in order for you to follow through. So let's get curious. Your intuition can emerge. And I put this down and I wrote it down and I want to share it with you because I want to acknowledge as well. Your intuition can emerge in a moment. It can feel like a miracle. It can come out of nowhere. It can be divinely guided. It can be this totally beautiful, miraculous thing like a drop of rain out of a dry sky. I'm not here to discount any magic involved in this situation. It doesn't have to, though, be always completely out of your hands. That's what we're emphasizing here today. So this isn't about like manipulating it and controlling it and like squishing it down and be like, oh, my intuition only does what I want it to do. We have this beautiful connection that is so beyond anything we can probably consciously comprehend. Let's stay open to that. But this is about how do you come into a deeper relationship with yourself and a deeper relationship with your intuition. So for the remainder of this week, your mini magic task is to begin to notice how your intuition likes to move through you and likes to communicate with you. If you're doing the activities from last week, so you're practicing developing your intuition, you just use that as how you're going to start noticing the actual signals coming through. If you've done that last week and you feel like you're ready to move on and try something else, this might just look like you remaining open and curious throughout the week. Now, because intuition is a process, it is not a product, this is something you can notice throughout the entire day. You can notice right now. You start to get information, sensations, little nudges and whispers. So remaining open and curious, but the little task I want you to focus on is how are those signals and signs coming through? Is it like a bodily sensation? Sometimes I just shiver, and it's literally for no reason. The temperature hasn't changed. I haven't moved. I haven't done anything. Like something just comes over me. So it could be a bodily sensation. Often it can be things like songs on the radio or a certain program coming on the TV, something popping up on YouTube. That is one way my intuition likes to perk up and notice things. Maybe it is for you as well. You might get random urges and nudges in the mind, like literally a thought, a sentence, a word, a visual, like comes through in your brain. Maybe it smells or taste or, you see things. So keep an eye out on your senses as well. And maybe it's your imagination. You find yourself running off with the story in your mind. You're like, where did that come from? But also get curious. What happened? What did I see? What did that mean? What is the significance? How do I, get curious into the communication here? So remember, there is a whole process to your intuitive communication. It is not just an answer. It is not just a solution. It's not just an outcome. The communication is going on constantly. We often only look for the answer though. This week, it's about being familiar with and feeling the connection to the whole conversation. I would invite you as well, if that's feeling a little bit overwhelming or even just a little bit challenging, is also letting go of the need to get an outcome from this week beyond your own understanding of yourself. Just because you're starting to communicate with your intuition in a much more practical way, in a much more consistent way, it doesn't mean suddenly you have the answer to everything like this and you have no more problems and you have no more challenges and nothing ever, confuses you ever again. So let's set aside for now applying this and start to just get comfortable with the process. That is our lesson for today. I don't want to go any further because that actually was quite extensive. I do feel like you'll need to watch this more than once. You don't have to watch it more than once right now, unless you have the time to. I'd love to hear what came up and through for you, what you're going to focus on, and if you've already had any ahas, revelations, or realizations about yourself and your intuition. Thank you for joining me. This has been magical. I can't wait to hear from all of you. Have a glorious day.